All right. Check this out. You guys are back on the Hater World, and I'm Blue Devil. Today is Saturday afternoon. It's already 2:30 in the afternoon. You can see right behind me. All right, I got a video reaction coming to you by American Cholo. Right, American Cholo had a Kool-Aid on his podcast last night. If you don't know who Kool-Aid is, that's Pocos Pero Locos on Power 106. It was the segment at nighttime. They would play Chicano rap. It went on for a while. Okay, I think it was only like 2 hours on air, but I think it went on for over 10 years. It's been so long, I don't recall. All right, she's the one with the pink hair, and you also have the Miza in the building. Salute to the Miza. He been here before. He was somebody big at the radio station. Okay, so they are both big radio personalities. All right, they are conversating about Chicano rap and why Chicano rap didn't make it to where it should have been, and also speaking about Chicano rap in its peak. All right, so what we're gonna do is watch this video together and react to it with my thoughts. Now, look, I didn't think that American Cholo had a lot of knowledge in Chicano rap. Okay, he never came off as a Chicano rap expert, not even expert, like even someone knowledgeable in Chicano rap. Because a lot of people listen to it or used to listen to it, so they think they know. But you actually had to be there to experience what Chicano rap really was, right? But when I was watching it, he made some great points. All right, so salute to AC from the American Cholo podcast. Now, look, today's Saturday, no podcast. Tomorrow, Sunday, I will give you guys the Seek Help segment. And everybody's been asking for a late night podcast. And we were going to do one last night, but I wasn't ready. Trap hit me up, Playboy hit me up, and I was like, nah, I'm not feeling it today, dog. So we got to pick days for those and be consistent and give you those, all right? That is a segment that people want to stay, so we going to keep it, all right? But other than that, this is up for sale right now. We got a couple orders that came in yesterday. Stop Net Bangers, all right? You can see right here, Hater World with the Mexican-American flag, all right? This is on the website right now. We got the hoodie and the tee. I'm gonna create a Hater World merch Instagram. So when you get the merch, post with it, take a picture with it. I'll post it on the Instagram, and I'll give you a discount code to use on your next purchase. All right, the website is www.shophaterworld.com. Shophaterworld.com. All right, very simple. Also, don't forget to go visit my homie's website, Droops. All right, www.shophoodstar.bigcartel.com. All right, shophoodstar.bigcartel.com. All right, he got his clothing up. Chile Gang. Okay, freedom is priceless, and we're working on some new designs. We got everything in the back. We're starting to produce it now, so that way you guys can order it and they can ship out pretty fast. Other than that, I just got a text message by Opina. He's gonna be here around 3:30. I don't know why. It's still an hour away, so he's gonna pull up on a Saturday. All right, let's watch this video. Salute to the squad. Salute to everybody. If you're new to this channel, make sure you hit the subscribe button, hit the like button. We drop content every day. To all the net bangers, nobody cares. To all the net bangers, we don't care. To all the net bangers, be about it. Don't talk about it. Let's see what you got going on. Let's see what you're going to do. All right. I'm not a net banger. I see everybody in the flesh. All right. They decide to net bang when they leave, but when they here, they nice. So again, stop net bangers. All right. Stop net bangers. Let's go. Let's go. Let's see what Kool-Aid, American Cholo, and the Miza got to talk about. Let's go.
There was a lot in the hallways that I would have to deal with that people don't know about, where it's like, and it kills me when people are like, oh, you pigeonholed or you did this, and they don't even know what kind of
Gatekeep. That's another word, is gatekeep.
fight I had to put up in radio, where people would say, oh, that's whack. People don't listen to that anymore. That's played out. That's not cool. Like, why in that time when I was fighting for that movement, why do you think, not that you were one of them, because you were always a huge supporter, but why do you think that wall was so high and heavy for Mexican Americans in?
Look, she gets a lot of a lot of backlash for supposedly gatekeeping Chicano rap. She gets a lot of backlash for destroying Chicano rap. And I'm not going to get into that, okay? Look, when I have guests that come up to the podcast, everybody speaks their mind. We don't tell people like, hey, don't talk about this. Hey, don't talk about this. People speak their mind, and that's why we get a lot of criticism by the outside world. Recently, we had Mr. Keep It Hood up here. He says something along the lines of that he feels like blacks gatekeep, or that the black homies put a stop to your success. I fill in the blanks because he was getting stuck on what he was trying to say. I got the backlash. I had Mr. D up here. He said something about Kool-Aid. I get the backlash. I have Royo up here. He says something about Kool-Aid. I get the backlash. Who else? Oh, the Mugroso was up here. Somebody called in and said some things about him. I get the backlash. I get the backlash for anything that happens here because it is our podcast, right? But that's the beauty of it, though. You know, I give everybody the floor to speak their mind, to deny any allegations, to say whether it's true or not true, and it's really up to them. Now, the only time where I stop it is if they're really wrong. The other day we had a youngster named Sporty, and he was he was about to go in on Little Cuete, and that he's not a legend in Chicano rap, which to me that's false. He don't know. He's too young to know or have been around when Little Cuete got signed to his record label, how big that was for the LA Chicano rap scene. So I had to stop him and say, hey, hold on, young man, you don't know about that. Vinny from Cuatro Flats was up here, and he went in on Locote, and I also had to stop him because it's like, big dog, you know, Locote OG out here. You know, maybe you might not know him like that or know about him in Chicano rap, but in Chicano rap, he was Chicano rap's boogeyman. So a lot of these youngsters don't really know sometimes, and they starting to speak, and I put a halt to it. But when there's somebody speaking their experiences, like when there's somebody speaking something they lived and they've been there and they're trying to get it off their chest, I move out the way and I just let them talk. So again, if Kool-Aid ever decides to come up to the hater world, she can say whatever she wants, bro. I'm not here to make her look bad. I'm not here to talk bad about her. I'm not here to like point her out. I'm just here to like, you know, you tell your story. You know, if it includes somebody doing you wrong and that somebody is somebody I know, then oh well, they shouldn't have done you wrong. That's the way I look at things. But again, we always get the backlash because we are the platform. All right, I talked to Little Cueta the other day, and he goes, "Hey, yo, Blue Devil, I'm proud of you, fool." He goes, "Dog, you out of all the podcasters that were doing it, fool, you're the only one in the mentions with the big dogs. You're the only one that's being mentioned with all the big platforms, bro. You're doing it for our people." He goes, "Keep working. I'm proud of you." Man, that shit felt great, homie. Because I remember when this album came out, we were outside game banging to a CD. And now we're, you know, patting each other on the back and you know, telling each other how great that we've been doing. You know, especially him. I'm not going to tell you what he told me, but he's working on a lot of big things. Salute to Lil Cuete. All right. But let's continue. We're not going to talk about Kool-Aid thing. I just want to hear the Chicano rap segment thing.
Well, I think at the time, it wasn't just that format. It was all rap. They said rap was over. They said urban music as a whole. I mean, they were even talking about like, you know, that Johnny Gill Rub You the Right Way. There was a rap version of it. And they said, you know, take that out. You know, I mean, for a second there, after Ice Ice Baby and MC Hammer and all of that, they just said, this is corny. We're done. Like, rap is over.
You had to be there to experience that. If you didn't grow up in the 90s, you don't know what the Mizza is talking about. There was a point in time, bro. Remember Bone Thugs, the intro? They said, they don't hate rappers. They hate thugs, or whatever that intro was. That was part of that. Then you had people that would come out and speak against rap. There was a politician lady. Then you had a politician guy. I forgot their name, dog. It's been so long. If I really sit here, I can think about it. They've come out and go against hip hop. They didn't want it. They didn't want to hear it. They were trying to ban album sales of hip hop in the record stores. You know, I'll put it to you like this. Not only hip hop, bro, the TV show The Simpsons. There used to be so many people trying to boycott that cartoon because it was, negative and a lot of, bad things of that cartoon, which I don't see it as an adult, but they try to stop it from airing because of the stuff The Simpsons says and does, on the episodes. For I remember having aunts that would write letters to The Simpsons to stop it from airing. Rat ass Diaz, you know. But it was so many people, bro. A lot of people. Not just those people that I know. Gang of people trying to stop rap, trying to stop this, trying to stop that. So I know exactly what the Mizza is talking about.
And I don't think it was, I think because you worked in that format or were passionate about that format, it was more personal. So it felt like it was that. But it did end up being that. You know what I mean? Down the line. You know, I don't think there was one point. I think that music goes through its phases. You know what I'm saying? And sometimes rock is the thing, sometimes rap's the thing, sometimes this, that. And I think that's just because we were so young and what we were going through, we just hadn't been through
maybe
that
in
yet.
maybe in the radio station wise, but I do kind of remember the time you were saying that they were saying, you know, rap was over, but like on just music wise, they were still popping. But the Latino ones, maybe the quality wasn't as. No, let's keep it 100. Maybe the quality wasn't as great because you went from Kid Frost, which to me was the absolute first ever.
Yeah.
I remember the first time I heard Kid Frost. I was walking down the street I used to live on a quarter sack when I was little. I have both my parents, and I have headphones on. Little ass, cheap ass headphones with a little metal wire. I know motherfuckers remember those. They were like, they wouldn't even fit on your ear, fool. They would like fall off, and they were like little foams with a little metal wire. I even have a picture sitting in front of my porch. I'll post it someday. And I'm listening to the radio because back then they would sell you cassette. It was a cassette player with the radio option on top. That was before the CDs came out. I don't know when did Kid Frost drop? 92, 93 maybe? I don't remember, but I remember it would come on the radio all the time. And I'm listening to it on the headphones. And it was fire, dog. It was fire as hell. But I never went back to search for it like again. Like I was never like, oh, I gotta buy this fool's album because he's tight. It was just that one song that I loved because it was on the radio every day. But that's when you had Eazy-E, the straight out of the original, not the original album, but the mainstream album, the one where he got the 40 going like this, and he has his foot to the back. That's when you had Doggy Style album. That's when you had the Chronic album. I mean, that was the mecca of the hip hop era, dog. At least for the West Coast, But that's what they're talking about right here.
But he was to me what Chicano rap, cream of the crop, like Little Rock. This is something like, I can sell this. This sounds good. Well, this guy knows how to rap. Like you say, he knows how to tell a story.
And now we got
Especially at that time, bro. At that time, it was hot.
CNG, like.
Well, and don't forget Mellow Man Ace too. No. There was Mellow Man Ace and there was Kid Frost. Those two.
Yeah, and then the Proper Dose.
Yeah,
Proper Dose.
Yeah.
But on a national level or on a level,
it didn't hit, and I think I know the answer to that.
Yeah.
And this is, but we'll finish with why the 2000s. I think by the time like the 2000s kick in and a little bit after that, you don't have the stars. You don't have.
Well, and I think really. What she's getting at, one of the things was the element. They were scared of it.
He said we didn't have the stars by the time the 2000s came. He might be right, dog. Cause, I mean, yeah, you had like Royalty has been doing this since the 90s, but he wasn't star power in the 90s. He was building, and I'm sure Royal's gonna call in and tell me off. He's going to watch this video and call me. And Mr. Capone was barely starting off in the early 2000s. He wasn't around quite yet like that yet, right? Yeah, you had Little Rob, you had Shadow, you had all the San Diego legends, but they were barely in the midst of them building. The only ones that we had that had star power was proper dose. Uh, uh, Kid Frost. You had a lighter shade of brown. Brownside was way too gutter and gangster for the radio. They were never gonna get no airplay, ever. Toker was too busy game banging on everybody. Rest in peace to the G. But you didn't have too many that had that star power, and that were ready to let go of the streets and focus on the music.
Those
Oh,
old
that
white,
too.
those old white
Oh,
people,
yeah, they
you know,
were-
even like the very first time that, Mac 10 or any of those guys came in the studio, the little white ladies in the office ran and shut the door. What are all these gangs? We're being invaded by gangsters. You know what I mean? So
Right.
if they see Dickies, they think that, oh, does he have a gun on him? That kind of stuff. Are we safe? It was, people.
I believe that as far as like why the Chicano rap
What did he just say? He said that the people, the CEOs, the ones at the record labels were afraid of game bangers, right? And who looks like a game banger in the 90s? All the black homies, all the Mexican homies, right? But the black homies are already in the door. The Mexican homies are trying to get in the doors, and we hear this over and over again everywhere, online, in prison, in jail, that the Mexicans have a tighter politics system than the black homies, right? And that's not me trying to glaze anybody or glaze anything, but you hear it. You hear it from the black homies. You hear it from the Mexicans, the whites. You hear it from the cops. You hear it from the normal people, the civilians. Everybody says that the Mexicans run a tighter politics system than the blacks, right? And earlier, that argument with the Clout Chasers podcast from Long Beach. If they watch my second video, that's what I said. I said sometimes when people out here murmur certain things about Mexicans, it makes those little white ladies or those old white men in those offices scared to fuck with us. All right. But nobody listens. Nobody takes anything in consideration. All they want to do is clout chase. I said it. I said when you got people like Whack out here running his mouth about Mexicans, BG Knockout, they might not be putting a cap to us or stopping us, right? Like, by the way, like, stop. But their voices are being heard up top. And now those people are saying, well, you got this guy that said this about them, and he's a gangster. And if he's a gangster and he's a thug and he's saying this about the Mexicans, that means that maybe he's not lying. Maybe he does know what he's talking about. Yeah, we don't want to deal with him. He don't want to deal with them. And he's a gangster. So why would we want to deal with them? And we're not even gangsters. Think about that, dog. If the gangster himself is afraid to deal with other gangsters, that tells you that, come on, it's bad news, right? So why would the little old white lady want to fuck with you? But whatever. Let's hear what American Cholo got to say.
like started going down. I mean, you still had it was like why the Chicano rap like started going down. I mean, you still had the radio stations playing it, but as far as like the peak, I still think the peak was in the mid 90s. So like as far as how big it was, I think that the homies politicking on one another is what dropped it down.
Holding each other back too.
Well,
it was like there was nobody rallying.
If this with Kid Frost, his thing that ended up bringing him down was people saying, "Oh, this guy's not from a gang. Oh, this guy's not this."
What happened, cuh?
The radio.
What happened?
But all my
Knows how to rap, like you say, he knows how to tell a story.
Bringing
him down was people saying, "Oh, this guy's not from a gang. Oh, this guy's not this."
What is going on? Hold on. I'm getting all kinds of issues here. Who sent me a virus? All right, hold on. Let's rewind this.
Ended up bringing him down was people saying, "Oh, this guy's not from a gang. Oh, this guy's not this."
What's going on? All right, hold on. I want to hear what AC got to say, but it seems like somebody's hacking me. All right, 29 minutes. Hold on. Let me refresh this whole thing. All right. 29 minutes. Hold on. Bear with me. What is going on here? Man, come on. I got things to do, people to see, parties to go through, baby mamas to pipe down. All right, hold on. 29 minutes.
I think the peak was in the mid '90s, so like some as far as how big it was. I think that the homies politicking on one another is what dropped it down.
Holding each other back too.
Well-
it was like there was nobody
well, no,
rallying.
It's this with Kid Frost. His thing that ended up bringing him down was people saying, "Oh, this guy's not from a gang. Oh, this guy's not this." Like, I was with.
Do you think so?
Absolutely, I was there. I know this.
Thank you, American Cholo. See the difference between a lady in the radio and the guy from the streets? The guy from the streets knows exactly what's going on because he's there. He's hearing his homeboy say it. He's hearing the people around in the hood talk about it. The lady on the radio, she might think she knows the streets, but she don't know the streets. She knows the outer limits of the streets. The homie like American Cholo was in the streets, right? Yeah, you were fool. You still hear it today. Today, how many people are in my DMs? Oh, Teletubby ain't from nowhere, even though I am, but I don't talk about it. Oh, Teletubby ain't never been here or done that. Teletubby ain't never been to jail. Whether I have or I haven't had nothing to do with you, but I have, and many, many times, and many, many years, right? But I don't talk about it. Oh, Teletubby or Blue Dildo hasn't done nothing ever in his life. What does it matter? Whether I have or I haven't, I'm here to bring you some entertainment. I'm here to showcase the rappers, and I'm here to give them a platform and give you some to watch, right? It ain't about me. This platform is not about me. It's about the people I bring up here. But we got all these dumbasses that don't understand any of this. Look, dog, most of the people that are making these statements on the YouTube, first of all, weren't even around when I was coming up as a youngster in my prime. So if you say, "Oh, you're never outside," fool, I'm twice your age. Why would I be standing on the corner? I did that. I survived that. Now I'm doing something positive and bringing you a platform to help our culture get to the top. And instead of you guys getting behind it, you guys are so stuck on this dumb ass shit that means nothing. But this is how I know most of you are goofies. Because if you were to tap in with the right people and ask about me or ask about us, you'd be so quick to shut your mouth. But that tells me you don't know nothing about nothing. So I don't blame you. But that's what American Cholo is talking about. Our own people are too worried about the gang aspect instead of worrying about the entertainment and trying to come up. If one of us makes it through that door in the podcast game, whether it be Hood Stocks, American Cholo, Blue Devil, LA Icon, any of us. Well, I mean, I don't know if all of us, but I know for the majority, 80% of the people I name make it. They're helping out all the homies make it. For the majority, there is one or two that I know that once they make it, they don't know nobody no more. You can't even call them, and that's the shit we don't need. Those are what you call gatekeepers, and we got rid of one of them already. Two of them. One of them was Criminalgas. He's gone. He was a gatekeeper his whole fucking career. And the second one is Tony Tranzas, another gatekeeper, putting us down to put up the other races. That's another fool we don't need. All right? So it's up to you guys who you guys make the voice. It's up to you guys. It's really up to you guys. Who do you think is really going to help the homies? Who? Out of all these podcasts that I mentioned, which one has all the youngsters? Which one brings you the entertainment? Which one is taking all the backlash to help everybody? Which one? Which one? Most people would have gave up already, homie. Salute American Cholo for telling it like it is.
It's just like you almost have that today sometimes when you have guys rapping about gangster rap that are Latinos and you got fools politicking and I'm talking shit like, fool, you ain't from the hood. That's when I always say, Ice Cube wasn't from the hood.
Facts.
Okay, let me ask you.
It's freaking show business.
But do you think that there can be MWA with guys talking about the pen, talking about getting busted, talking about busting, and 2 or 3 of their whole crew out of 4 are all not affiliates? Not gang members, nothing. Do you really think that the essays, the Latino community will let them, the Chicano community in LA will let them thrive?
I think we had an MWA, but we didn't have a platform for it at the time.
Well,
I think Slow Pain and Nino Brown were our.
yeah, but
No, 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 no. They were not their voices were not big enough to be MWA. MWA, if there was one, it'd probably be the original Brownside cast. All right, the original Brownside cast. All right, original. Wicked, Toker, Danger. Who was the other one? There was one more. That they would be the original.
Slow Pain was from I think it was from
But-
the Harbor area. That's
Yeah.
what I'm saying. The thing with us is
You're saying
yeah,
that.
if you ain't a gangbanger and you rapping about this stuff, you're gonna get pressed up on.
But I don't know, because think about what the culture let me do and how the culture's embraced me representing
You're a civilian Kool-Aid.
it and being on the forefront of it and being such a neutral party and a
but
bridge.
but you weren't coming in as a poser talking about.
Yeah, like I'm banging, like I'm not.
You're a civilian Kool-Aid. There's a difference. So this is what American Cholo's saying, all right? Salute to Kool-Aid. But you're talking about you being allowed to do what you did. Yeah, you're a civilian. Everybody looks at you like a civilian. Like they look at you and they're like, oh, she could help us get famous. So let's use her, or let's figure it out, or whatever it might be, right? But American Cholo is talking about rappers that talk about gangs and prison that are really not about that. Now, I'm sorry, but we all remember my homie Bozo going at a bunch of youngsters that were not from gangs, residents, all right? He was going at them because he was saying, hey, you guys are rapping about the streets. You guys are talking about all this gangster shit, and you guys are not gangsters and not from the streets, all right? They looked at him like the old washed up rapper, all right? And it really fucked with his career early on because everybody automatically thinks you're hating. But I think Bozo elevated. I think now since he signed to OTR, he's dealing with a lot of youngsters. Now he understands, hey, the streets are the streets and entertainment is entertainment. And that's what a lot of you bozos need. Well, fuck, no pun intended. But that's what a lot of you young bozos right now that are active in the streets need to stop disrespecting these platforms with older homies that are trying to help. Okay? Eventually, you might get old. Eventually, you might look different. And people are going to be like, look at this fool. He never done shit. Even though you have. Okay? So look. Basically, this is what it comes down to. Get behind your people. Support your people. You already saw that Cloud Chasing podcast from Long Beach. They don't want homies in the culture. At least his perspective. Not all the black homies, because there's a gang of black homies that I know that love us and we love them. But we're going based off that guy. And there's a lot of people that feel like that guy. They don't want people in the culture. They feel like you're an outsider or you're a guest and you're this and you're that. And again, not all the black homies, because I got a lot of black homies that I love and they love me, and they know that we work hand in hand and we all help each other out, and that's what we're supposed to do, okay? Because we all here together. But there is people on the Mexican side, and there's people on the Mexican side that feel that way about the blacks, and there's people on the black side that feel like that about the Mexicans. That's why you always supposed to support yourself, support good content, support the homies, and support anybody that comes from the struggle, dog. Listen, if you're watching something and they're Chinese, but they're doing great work, support that shit. If you see another homie that looks like you and they're trying to make it work, support that. If you see another fool and he's black and he's coming out the mud and you can relate to that, support that. Who gives a fuck what gang they're from, how much time they've done, who they kick it with? If you support the craft, homie. Too many people worried about all the wrong shit out here. That's the problem. And most of all, support your people. Support your people. All right? Quit worrying about all this. Look, you fool. If you're worried about what gang a motherfucker's from or whether he's done all this, I'm going to keep it very simple. Run up or shut up. Run up or shut the fuck up. Show us something already. Oh, American Cholo this. Oh, Blue Devil. Let me see. Do it. If not, move out the way because you're a disease. oh, I could be a better podcaster, then go do it. Go do it. Go do it. What are you waiting for? And with that being said, shophaterworld.com. Salute to everybody. Like the video, share the video. Salute to Kool-Aid, the Misa, and the American Cholo. Yeah, that's it. See you guys in the next one. Let's go.